Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Farah Shamim, and you are watching Canadian Mosaic. As you know, the federal elections are anticipated in 2025, if not sooner, and the political parties are electing their candidates for various ridings. Today, in our studios, we have Kerry Colborne, who is seeking nominations from the Oakville West from the Conservative Party of Canada. Let's discuss her manifesto. Kerry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing terrific, thank you, Farah.
Wonderful.
And yourself?
Yeah, good. And thank you so much for being with us on this studio. Would you please tell us something about yourself? Like your educational background or anything, your experience?
Sure. So I'm actually originally from Alberta. So I always tell people that means I was born blue because, of course, Alberta is a very conservative province.
Yeah.
I've had an opportunity to work all over the world in roles like country manager in New Zealand, head of marketing, global marketing director, based in France and the US, head of marketing in Canada. So I've got great Fortune 100 corporate background, working with large teams, large revenues, large operating budgets in very large, complex organizations. I came back to Canada in 2005, swore I'd never work for another major multinational, and actually switched from agriculture into finance. As you
wow.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, so a big switch. So
yeah.
I did work for the Business Development Bank of Canada. I've got commercial banking experience. And now I own a private finance company working in real estate. So I have a unique blend of small business experience, big business experience, and...
Amazing experiences. Wow, amazing. So the question comes to mind. Such an accomplished person in the industry, and now you are changing your field again,
yes.
Coming towards politics.
Yes.
Why so? What is so attractive towards politics?
I'm not sure it's the attraction. It's my burning desire to see a better Canada. I think with a lot of people are concerned about the direction of Canada. I was concerned 4 years ago. I was the Conservative candidate for Oakville in the 2021 federal election.
Right.
I had a burning desire to make a change then. And from my perspective, the country has only gotten worse over the last 4 years. And, you know, politics is a tough game, but I'm willing to engage in it because we need a change in Canada.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So we are going to discuss what kind of change is needed. But before that, I would like to ask, you said that it's a tough game. And it's more tough, I guess, for women, right? To enter in politics and to survive, or there is a lot of trolling around, you know. So how would you deal with that? Because when you are doing your business, it's your job, your work. But now you're becoming a public figure. You go out, talk to people. There are some people who like you, some people don't like you, and they take it to social media or wherever. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, you know. When you're not in an election cycle, people tend to be respectful. I did find that during the election cycle, people were less respectful.
Right.
But, you know, I actually called out people a couple of times and said, why are you saying that? Why are you acting that way? And I have to tell you that maybe it's because they're from Oakville, but the immediate response was like, oh, geez, I'm sorry. And the conversation immediately became more respectful. I can think of one person in particular. He actually picked up the phone and called me and actually apologized. And we actually made a connection. You know, my background, my degrees in agriculture. His wife worked in agriculture. And we actually had a bit of a conversation about it. But this is probably going to sound funny. My mother was a screamer.
Okay.
So yelling at me, it's water off a duck's back. Doesn't bother me at all. So maybe that's prepared. Maybe I didn't know when I was young, but it's a great preparation. So there's a couple things that are great preparation for, I think, being in politics. I had the opportunity, I served for 10 years on the Oakville Chamber of Commerce board, including 2 terms as chair of the board.
Right.
It is a fantastic background for entering into politics because you learn about all levels of government, you work on policy development. So it gives you a great grounding from that perspective. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. I can relate to that. You know, in our community, like in South Asian community, parents' job is to yell at their kids all the time. So I would say all these, South Asians, they're almost ready to enter politics.
Yeah.
They can bear all of that
Yeah.
because there is a lot of
They grew
trolling
up
for
with it.
kids.
Yeah,
They grew up with
it.
that. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So you mentioned during our conversation that things got worse in 4 years' time when you were, running for this position 4 years ago. And now, what are you think they made any mistakes, or that's what they are, the liberals, the people who are in power right now?
Well, as you can imagine, I of course love that question. Yeah, I actually said, this is when Kathleen was in power, that I was looking at leaving Ontario because I hated all of her policies. She was a nice enough woman. I met her plenty of times in the chamber. Hated the policies, and I'd have to say I'm in that exact position now with the Liberals. I swear that they do their policy development on what's going to sound good and not what actually is going to work good. And a perfect point is the $10 a day childcare. Sounds great in theory, but I'm pretty sure if you talk to parents in Oakville who are actually trying to either access it or don't work a 9-to-5 schedule, it doesn't work, right? So it's just, it's again, I swear they do stuff to make it sound good for a great photo op, but it isn't carefully thought through. And in some cases, it's the absolute wrong policy for what we need in Canada.
But at the same time, I sometimes feel if you have given something to somebody, such as this $10, per hour for a child, or any other such kinds of incentives which they provide, which look good, apparently. Yes, the policymakers realize that probably they're not right policy, but apparently they look good. So once people start receiving these benefits, it's difficult to stop them, right?
Yeah,
and that makes someone who is going to stop them, because that's not realistic, that's not sustainable. How the Conservatives deal with this kind of situation?
I think it's a matter of describing what we would do differently and what the benefits of it are.
Right.
And I think that's true of any policy. Anytime you want to make some big changes, it makes people nervous.
Yeah.
But I think if you can explain it in simple terms, exactly what you're trying to accomplish and how you intend to accomplish, and you execute, because let's face it, that's one of the biggest issues about the Liberal government. They're widely unable
inefficient
to execute, right? And as I always say, Conservatives get stuff done. We have lots of plans, lots of ideas that we want to execute, and we'll get it done.
Okay.
And the big thing is, of course, around the economy. One of the things that people like about my background is I understand finance, I understand the economy.
Yeah.
If you look at our productivity, if we didn't have as much immigration as we have now, our productivity is already brutal. It would be even worse. If you look at GDP per person, it's abysmal. And that means we used to have a better productivity rate than the US did.
Yeah.
We're now like $22,000 per person less than the US. Our standards of living are going down every day.
Of course.
But because you don't necessarily feel it, people should be up in arms.
Yeah.
We should be such a prosperous country. If we were doing some key things differently, we would have a different Canada.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So that's what I'm going to elaborate on. What do you think? What would be your 3 priorities which you are going to highlight during your campaign?
So this is going to sound a little strange, and not necessarily during my campaign, but one of the things I'm passionate about, and maybe it's because I'm from Alberta, we are committing, Rick Hillier, the retired general of the Army, he calls it economic suicide by not developing our natural resources. It's insane. There's demand for our natural resources.
Yeah.
There's security issues about not providing our natural resources, whether it's oil and gas, LNG, but also at the same time developing alternative fuels, like doing the small modular reactors, working on hydrogen, so making those transitions. But we could be so prosperous. Look at Norway. They're a great example, right?
Yeah.
So they are utilizing, they're extracting, they're selling their natural resources.
And use
but they're also doing green things as well, right?
Exactly.
And we're not. It's crazy.
Like generating some revenue through oil and gas and using it for further, developments in the industry.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's number one, right? So that's what you are going to focus on, or you will tell people in Oakville, which is understandable. Anything else which is very burning issue, which especially for what I want to know is that Oakvillians, whether their challenges or problems are different from other places in Ontario or in Canada, or it's very similar. It's the same, issues at the federal level. Definitely, we understand that federally they don't oversee local issues; they oversee the federal level issues, right? So you think that they are going to be same, whoever is talking in Mississauga or in Toronto?
Yeah,
or different?
No, I think so, actually. I think that's one of the reasons why Pierre is so popular with Canadians, is he talks about the things that Canadians are concerned about.
Right.
Affordability.
Yeah.
All the parents that I know who have their children still living in their basement and don't foresee a time when they're not going to be living in their basement, it's a huge issue. We talked a little bit in the last election cycle about mad grandmas, right? Because their children are having to move so far away.
Right.
They want their children close to them. They want their grandchildren very close to them.
Yeah.
And affordability is an issue for everybody.
Definitely.
And cost of everything is gone up substantially. And that is an issue for everybody. And I can tell you, I've been out door knocking a lot. There are people that are hurting in Oakville. I mean, yes, we are a more wealthy community, but people are hurting.
Yeah, I learned that the poverty rate is increasing in Oakville. And there are many people who go, especially kids, they come to school hungry. So that kind of situation, and it's surprised to see happening in Oakville, right?
Yes.
So that means this is a challenge in every doorstep somehow.
Yes.
Right?
I actually had the opportunity to interview Gary O'Neill with Kerr Street Mission and Alex Irish, who is raising funds for an outreach van. There's over 1,000 homeless people in Oakville. Sorry, in Halton region, not just Oakville.
Right.
But Kerr Street Mission is feeding 1,300 families every single week. They're getting 25 new families every week in Oakville.
Wow. See, so the scale is increasing, like the poverty or affordability issue is increasing. That's what you mentioned.
Yes.
So we also see basically why there are more challenges in Oakville about affordability, because the demographics are changing as well.
Yes.
So with the change in demographics, do you think the challenges are going to be different, which we may need to address them differently in Oakville?
One of the things I guess I would say is that Oakville actually happens to have a little bit older of a demographic than average.
Right.
And Canada is going to struggle because of demographic changes. And I'm talking age demographics primarily there.
Right.
But again, Oakville hardly lives in a bubble, right? Sometimes we think we live in a bubble, but we don't.
Yeah, that's good that we don't, right?
Yeah, no.
We face the reality and then we work to improve it the way we like.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that it's the environment related or oil and gas related, energy related issues, then inflation or affordability. How about with respect to seniors or with respect to LGBT community, any minority groups? What policies you think are supporting them or would be supporting them, or how do you see the challenges which we are going to face in terms of these minority groups?
So looking after seniors is certainly a big challenge. My own father lives in Oakville West, and once you're in the environment of a long-term care center, you can see the challenges and difficulty of delivering care. The Conservative Party is a party of family values and parental rights. but obviously very respectful of LGBTQ. As you know, Melissa Landsman is our deputy leader of the party, who is a gay woman. Pierre's father is married to a man. One of the things I respected about Pierre in his opening speech within 5 minutes was acknowledging that, which is something you're never going to hear on the mainstream media, actually. I'm about embracing everybody.
Right. Wonderful. Okay, now, as we are saying that there is a demographic is changing in Oakville as well as in the country itself, there are more immigrants from South Asia, for example. There are more immigrants because the more difficult societies, people migrate to Canada. So this time of the year or century, there are more challenges in Muslim countries, and that's why more Muslim population is moving to Canada, in different parts of Canada. In the past, though, conservatives were not very successful to sell themselves to Muslims or to South Asians in general. How would you see this, and how are you approaching towards Muslims?
So the party certainly made some mistakes in the past, I would say. I think that's a fair comment to make. What I would say is that I have worked really hard in many communities in Oakville and the Muslim community for sure. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
And, I also made a point on our board of directors, made sure that we had representations from the various communities in Oakville. And, that's the key thing. I've had various visible minorities say to me, well, I want somebody that looks like me to represent me. And that made my blood freeze the first time I heard that. But nobody can look like everybody or, be the same religion, speak the same languages. But what I've proven I can do, and I have done it, and I will continue to do it, is meet with the Muslim community, understand their issues, meet with all visible minority or sexual minorities, but meet with various communities and make sure you understand what their issues are and you're representing them. My responsibility is to represent everybody in Oakville West.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. So I hope that more Muslims will be convinced about the. One thing is for sure, I would like to highlight that with conservatives, Muslims affiliate the most, basically, because we are very conservative by heart. Our values, our traditional setup, and all of that is very much in line with conservative strategies. But still, there are some issues due to which we were not able to be as close as we hope we can be, with the conservatives. So let's see.
So I was shocked. So I was at Dar Foundation, Al Falah, Noor Al Haram, primarily Dar Foundation more so.
Right.
And I was asked to say in front of the congregation that, a conservative government will not rip off your hijab.
Yeah.
Which I was happy to say, right? But it's just amazing that was a concern.
And that's such a big hurdle for us to cross to meet conservatives on the other side, right? Yes. So knowing about the communities or visible minorities, I think that's the first step to understand what bothers them the most, right? In this case, we are talking about Muslims, but that's how it should be with the LGBT community or with any other community. Like, what are their challenges and how to address them, right?
So one of the things I've said, because I've had various groups say, well, I want you to be anti this or anti that. My position, after a great deal of thought and being asked a number of times, is simply anti-hate.
Exactly.
Anti-hate.
Exactly. And accepting everyone. The diversity is the beauty, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. Would you tell us one last thing, that why people should vote you, because there must be some other nominations. So what special you will offer which others may not be able to offer?
I think there's quite a few different things. So one, I have a proven track record of being a leader in Oakville, whether it's serving 10 years on the Oakville Chamber of Commerce, including 2 terms as chair of the board. I've served 15 years as the chair of the judging panel for the Oakville Awards for Business Excellence. I've served 8.5 years on the Heritage Advisory Committee for the town of Oakville, so maintaining our unique character. 5 years on the Oakville Arts Council. So I have a proven track record of helping Oakville and making Oakville a better place. The other thing I think that sets me apart is my background in finance and the economy. So those are things I understand. I understand budgets. I understand financial statements. And, also through my business as owning a mortgage brokerage, between the Chamber, the Oakville Business Awards, and actually working with the Business Development Bank, I have literally walked the floors of hundreds of businesses in Oakville. Right. So I know Oakville. I understand Oakville. I've been there 32 years. And again, I've proven that I can go out in the various communities in Oakville, meet with them, understand their issues. And my role, I believe, is taking Oakville to Ottawa, not the other way around.
Right.
And I've got experience.
Yeah.
We ran a very successful campaign. I was only elected a week before the last election was called. And yet we ran a very successful campaign, was able to move the needle in the positive direction for the Conservative Party against an extremely high-profile cabinet minister.
Yeah.
So I've been there. I've done that. I know my riding. I know my voters. I've door knocked darn near all of Oakville, so I know how beautiful a town it really is. But I think all those things set me apart.
Okay, wonderful. Break time. So मिलते हैं soon after the break.
अगर आपको दुबई या मिडल ईस्ट नुमा जेवरात की तलाश है, तो आपको दूर जाने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं। आज ही हमारे मिसिसागा रिजवे स्टोर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स। हमारे पास सोने के बेहतरीन कंगन, कड़े, झुमके, हार और सोने के सेट्स भी दस्तयाब हैं। शादी हो या मेहंदी या कोई भी फंक्शन, आपकी पसंद के तमाम जेवरात आपको हमारे स्टोर में मौजूद मिलेंगे। आज ही हमारे स्टोर पर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, 3465 प्लैटिनम ड्राइव, यूनिट 99, मिसिसागा, या फिर कॉल करें 905-828-0009। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, फरमाइश आपकी, गारंटी हमारी।
Popeyes has opened a brand new location in downtown Vancouver. Satisfy your craving for Cajun at this new location off West Georgia and Hamilton Street, where you'll find all your favorite Louisiana-inspired menu items. We sampled the unrivaled trio of sandwiches, the classic, the deluxe, and the blackened deluxe chicken sandwich, and all were delicious. All of the signature fried chicken is marinated for 12 hours, then hand-battered and breaded, served with Cajun fries and mac and cheese on the side. Plus, for a limited time, you can try Popeye's Crispy Chicken Wrap, available now until September 3rd. Check out the new Popeye's location at 700 Hamilton Street today. Who are you bringing with you? Tag them in the comments.
This is the latest opening in BC for Popeyes, with more openings coming soon in both Alberta and BC by PLK Group.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
My name is Timur Shah. I'm the managing partner of Shah & Shah Lawyers. At our firm, we do personal injury, real estate, immigration, litigation, family, criminal, and wills and estates. You can contact us at 905-270-5474, or you can visit our website at shawlawyers.ca, and you can visit us at 315 Traders Boulevard East, Unit 3 in Mississauga. We're a family law firm, and we'd love to help your family out.
Welcome to SFK Law, where we're committed to providing legal guidance tailored to your needs. When it comes to real estate law, every detail matters. At SFK Law, we will assist you whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing your property. We'll guide you throughout the process with complete transparency.
Whether you're an employer or an employee, our team will provide expert guidance and representation to safeguard your rights and interests. Whether you're an existing business owner or you're looking to buy or sell a business, at SFK Law, we can help you structure the transaction from start to finish.
If you're searching for a lawyer, contact us today to schedule your consultation.
Thinking of buying or selling real estate? Call us today. We are one-stop solution provider for your real estate needs. Our commission plans to meet your budget. Buy, sell, or build. We can help. Think of us today. Call us at 905-785-9923. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Thank you.
डिक्सी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस, जहां आपकी तमाम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस की जरूरियात पूरी होंगी। हमारे पास आपको हर टॉप ब्रांड मौजूद मिलेगा, चाहे वो वर्लपूल हो या एलजी, सैमसंग हो या जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक्स। हम इन सब के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर हैं। आइए और हमसे 5 स्टार खिदमत का लुत्फ उठाइए। हम आपको तमाम अप्लायंसेस सबसे बेहतर और सस्ते दामों पर फराहम करेंगे, ये हमारी गारंटी है। विजिट आवर वेबसाइट www.dixieelectronics.ca या फिर हमें कॉल कीजिए 905-625-5900. At Dixie Electronics and Appliances, we sell quality and deliver confidence.
I know that the basic difference between conservatives and liberals is the way they conduct their businesses. Like there are smaller government for conservatives, as we know from academia and from the textbook. Smaller government for conservatives, which means lesser taxes, and which also means that supporting businesses, giving more autonomy to private sector. How do you see that would be happening after 8 years or more of liberal government, and people are so used to of that work style?
So the public service is increased by over 40% under Justin Trudeau, which is crazy. So you actually have government competing against private business to deliver services, which is crazy. So you're 100% right. A conservative government does mean smaller government, less taxes when you don't have that 40% bloat. You know what our unemployment rate would look like? I swear that's one of Justin's motivations for having that many, to grow the federal public service that much.
Yeah.
Just think what our unemployment rate would look like if you hadn't done that.
Right.
Right? So it's almost skating a problem by doing that. But it's creating other problems. We talked a little bit about productivity, right?
Yeah.
So businesses are not investing the way they should be. They're not even replacing capital at this point. So capital equipment.
Right.
And part of that is because regulation, they're competing with the federal government.
Right.
We need to change that. So you know, one of the things that frankly worries me a little bit sometimes is the conservatives, I'll be clear, they're going to make a lot of changes. From my perspective, they're all very positive changes, and we need them, and we need them now.
Yeah, because it's going to take towards productivity, more efficiency, more growth, right?
Yes.
Okay, it looks amazing. We are going to wait and see how it evolves over the time period. Because I came to Canada like just 5 years ago, which means I have never seen per se a conservative government. So I have listened to other people. I have the conversations with other people, but that's other people's story, whether they liked conservative time or not. Now we will see, you know, what happens when we get there. Okay, so now let's assume that you got nominated for this position, and then you are elected for your riding, and you are there in Ottawa. In 4 or 5 years' time, what do you see? What will be your major accomplishment which you would like to achieve?
That's a good question. Again, I'm going to talk on a macro level, and that is around the economy, making the economy thrive again, making us prosperous, having businesses having the confidence to invest in Canada. Capital is fleeing Canada because they don't see us as a good place to invest. But also, you know, there's also, of course, the softer side of things. And that's, you know, I've developed a youth leadership council, and I would like to expand that. I've brought in high-level speakers to teach the kids, what does it take to be successful in the corporate world primarily, right? So those are the kind of things. And again, you have a platform. You have the honor of having a platform to making a difference in your own community on things that are passionate to you. So youth is certainly one that I would want to work with. Because again, I know having, you know, a positive environment, a positive economy, so all people's children can thrive. Something we all want, right?
Yeah, definitely. And this is my last question basically about the children. As I mentioned about me, that I have never seen a conservative government. I don't know how it looks like. Same way our children who are growing up at a time when it's the liberal policies around them. How would you convince them that conservative policies are better, and so they come on board?
They seem to be
And
doing it naturally. I mean,
yeah.
Typically the Conservative Party hasn't always been popular with the youth. We're insanely popular with youth because, again, Pierre talks about the things that kids care about. He talks about hope. He talks about a vision. And you know what? Kids are actually more conservative today,
right?
Than they were, because again, they can see that they're not stupid. They can see that liberal policies are not working. In a lot of ways, the liberal outlook is very bleak, right? Around the environment, like it's got to be tough to be a kid these days growing up, because all you hear is like the end of the world, right? And we 100% need to do things around the environment without question. But let's be hopeful about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show. With this, we end our program today. And please stay tuned as we are going to bring another nominee next week. खुश रहें, मुस्कुराते रहें और हमारा शो देखते रहें. Thank you.